Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Hopefully, you guys ain't too hung over out there. I know it's fucking freezing where I'm at right now. Starting off, I want to thank Patrick O'Connor and the Cookie Man for donations to Neon. He really appreciates that, and so does the Throttle. Later today, about 1300 hours, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Motorcycle Madhouse is going to be debuting with a special guest. We got some big breaking news up on Motorcycle Madhouse in regards to an incident that happened down in Florida. It had to be about a month or two ago. I'm not exactly sure, but it had to do with that kinfolk shooting into the SUV with those two kids in the car. And we got a good freaking smart lady coming out and breaking some big news, man. Actually, after I heard it, I was like, holy shit, man, you gotta be kidding me. This is going on out there. But yeah, that's gonna be on Motorcycle Madhouse today at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Also, big announcement, November 17th, the Biker Angle. Every Saturday, we'll be live streaming all over multiple platforms. We're talking YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and there has to be, there's going to be stuff going on in Russian, I guess, man. So hopefully the damn Democrats don't come after me for broadcasting to Russia. Welcome everybody in the chat room. We got Shaman, Super Pimp, Marty. And you're right, this is a jack nut free zone around here, man. Let's see here. Harry Banana from Japan. Hey, get that Suki, man. Get that Suki. Hey, what's up, mate? How you guys doing? First thing I want to do today before we get into the new age part of this segment is talk about, and it's actually going to lead into that segment, but we're going to do a new segment here on the Biker Angle Live, and it's called A Message to My Haters. You know, I get a lot of these. You gotta love them, man. They keep me on my toes. But this one from Mike. This guy's an asshat. I can understand wanting to get the truth out, and I'm all for that. But this guy is too much of a pussy to get on his bike and go get the scoop in person. Isn't that what good reporters do? I can talk all day long about what people tell me, but don't mean shit if I don't have first-hand information. He's just a scab on the MC community. Well, this was posted on one of the truth sites. And Mike, you're the ass monkey of the day today, buddy, because what you're saying's a bunch of freaking crap, let me tell you. Listen, you really think that I wrote a book with a bunch of interviews with clubs and didn't talk to them in person, or get any of the news that I get without going straight to the clubs? I just go out there and see all this shit printed on MSM, well, which is mainstream media, and just repost it and claim it as mine. You, sir, are a jacknut. You know, one of the things that I do with Insane Throttle is I actually do get out there a ton. I actually hang around with a lot of club members, and a lot of my closest friends are club members. So this is how I really get a lot of the information that I put out there is straight from the streets, from the horse's mouth. Another thing I do is I headline events. Here, this is one I'm actually considering going to and participating in. Now, the reason why you do not see me throw videos about me being in the events and shit like that is because I don't want my presence overshadowing the event. You know, a lot of these events are for kids, and I do travel most of the country and headline a lot of events. So, yeah, ass monkey Mike, or yeah, it is Mike. I do actually get out there a lot, and I'm also part of a lot of online associations for reporting and shit like that. So yeah, I really do get out there, and I do have a good time. and we help raise a lot of money for people. We are in negotiations right now to sponsor one of the big ones, an international motorcycle show, and I don't know if I'm going to headline that one or not. But yeah, sorry, Mike. You might want to do a little more research, and especially when I looked at you, dude, you look like a gump, man. Come on, man. You got to get better than that. If you're going to come at me with some hater shit, make sure you know what you're talking about. Because one thing on Insane Throttle Biker News is I make sure I have all my facts. And I think he was a little upset because it was probably a video that I did with, let me get back to the main screen so I to see your guys' chats there. So I think he was upset because there's a new book coming out November 1st, and it's the Iron Order book. And in that, I wanted to take a middle-of-the-road type of approach. I didn't want to come in with any perceptions. I wanted to go in there like I was some kind of citizen, didn't know what the hell was going on, to report on it. And that way, you guys have the straight facts in the deal. So I think he was upset that I wasn't out there, bashing a dude or bashing this. But as a reporter, as a journalist, whatever you want to call it, you can't go in with any preconceived notions. So, and it just affects the story, and that's not something I like to do. But that's what led into this, the new Age of Biking Brotherhood. And in this book, I talk about how the biker scene has changed since I came in '93. See, I had the real honor of being able to learn from some Vietnam vets, some hardcore dudes that put in some, let's just say they have some street credit. And I take the book through those events, and I also, and by the way, when I write books, I don't talk about specific club events that happened with the clubs I were in. I'm just not like that. I don't do that. I don't believe in it. I'll go around subjects and shit, but you won't get the actual events that happened because that was club business and you don't talk shit about club business. That's just the way I am. I know other authors out there that used to be in clubs do that shit. That's not me. But the new Age of Biking Brotherhood, I brought all kinds of interviews to the readership. Interviews with clubs that you usually wouldn't get. And the latest one was from the AOA. I got a national response and a local response to the book that was going out. Everybody knows the book. I won't promote it here. All I know was a bunch of bullshit because a lot of events in there never happened. Some of them I was there for, and it's just total bullshit. So what I did was got an interview with the AOA, the national response, and the regional response, and that's in the book. A lot of people don't understand these clubs don't talk out to the media. And one of the things that Insane Throttle does is able to bridge that medium where they'll come and they'll talk to me because they know it's off record and I'll never print this shit. And they also know I'm one of those guys who ain't one of them tinfoil hat guys and always say, well, what they did is wrong. The cops are this, the cops are that. Even though I hate cops, and I got my personal reason for cops. If you ever watch my videos, you can see why I had that animosity towards cops. But they know I'm not going to go out there right away and freaking say, well, the clubs are angels and shit like that. That's just not how I am. That's not how I report, and I'll never report that way. So the new Age of Biking Brotherhood gave that insight to what some of these clubs were thinking. Not only do I have the AOA interview in there, I got the Kazakh 1%ers interview in there. And if you people don't know who Kazakh 1%ers are, they're a group that actually broke off from what's called the Ugly Man Kazakhs down in Texas after Waco. Now, I understand the breakaway stuff because, hey, it's a street game. If a lot of people don't understand clubs, they run by street rules. And that's why a lot of, and I actually talk about it in the next book coming up. A lot of these people, like the Alliance Law Abiding Clubs and shit, they're putting this crap in people's heads that, hey, they can go out, do this, do that, because this is America and blah, blah, blah. You know the freaking game. But they don't understand how dangerous that is to put people who have no experience on the street into that kind of situation. It's just like sending a wolf into a, or a sheep into a wolf's den. These people don't understand, and these type of organizations are dangerous. Yeah, and you got to understand first where they're coming from. The Alliance of Law-Abiding Clubs, they're 99% freaking cop clubs. So you already know where they're coming from. But they're out there to divide and conquer. That's the way them people work. And what I mean by divide and conquer is they already know the bike. Well, shit, their mission statement is, the band together and get intelligence, sharing information. What's that telling you right off the freaking bat? They're the ones who go out there, bang COC clubs and all that shit. But they're cops. That's what they do. It's cop and robbers time. But that's the examples that go on in the books, is trying to bring that to the forefront of what's going on out there. Because the biker scene has become so watered down, and I think this actually has to go to, it started in the mid-90s is when we started to see the rub invasion, because before the mid-90s, and this has to do with the Harley-Davidson shit, by the way. Harley-Davidson, you could go on the showroom floor back in 92, for example, and buy whatever you wanted. Well, then these middle-aged rubs or rich urban bikers who don't know that come into the scene and start buying everything up, and next thing you know, there's a waiting list for these damn bikes. So that's when Harley-Davidson started to make that pivot. And that's also when the biker scene started to see these. That's where PC started coming from back then. Let me tell you. The mid-90s, we started seeing that switch. And by early 2000, 2001 is when I think that Discovery bullshit came out with the biker build-offs. And what is that other fucking thing? American Chopper with that Paul Duddle, as I call him. It's Tootle, but I call him Duddle. He's a jacknut and an ass monkey, Marty. That freaking guy has all this kind of money. But anyway, that's when it started really going really PC, man. And everything started really changing. And yeah, of course, I know the country's changing in a way, shit used to be. You even had Arnold Schwarzenegger come out yesterday and apologize for calling somebody a girly man or using the term girly man. Which, my God, that's how bad it's gotten out there. The freaking Terminator's apologizing for using girly man. So, yeah, and I'm wearing the hoodie, man. It's freaking cold up here in Chicago. It was like 29 degrees up here in Northern Illinois last night, man. That shit sucks. Dan over in Cali, man, it's all warm and shit over there. Now I'm starting to, I know it's occupied territory in California, but shit, maybe in the wintertime I want to go over there and then join in that shit. It is cold over there. But anyway, 2004 is when the Iron Order popped up. And that's what really started to change the club scene and the attitude in the club scene. So I cover a little bit about that in the new Age of Biking Brotherhood. But the one coming out in November, that's the real one right there. That's where we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the situation and the whole 9 yards. Also, in the new Age of Biking Brotherhood, I brought out a lot of information that a lot of people didn't know. And, a lot of people read it like, holy shit, I didn't know it was like that. I got into how some of these biker news sites, so-called ones, are out there writing editorials, but in the meantime, printing freaking stories from cops. And, yeah, if you get the book, it's in there. Where, we got a hold of a freaking email where they were going back and forth with one of the most hated cops in the scene. He actually made his living busting the Galloping Goose. And now Steve Cook is everywhere like he's a fucking expert. So, he's an ass monkey, jacknut, whatever you want to call him, but he's a pole sucker, let me tell you. But this website was communicating with him, putting out his freaking shit, and it was unreal. If you're supposed to be with clubs or the biker scene, don't go out there printing the freaking cops bullshit. Really. So 2004 onward, that's when we really started seeing this PC stuff in the biker community. Now, fast forward to 2018. You got all kinds of pop-up clubs out there. You got all kinds of people running around. And you got these keyboard warriors. So, like the hater segment right here. He put all that shit. Which, hey, I love haters. If you hate me, send me the emails. I love them. I get about 200 to 300 a day. I love it. You know, it gives me good reading entertainment. And it keeps me on my toes. So keep sending them. But you better have your information correct if you want to debate me. Because I always make sure we do. One of the things that makes Insane Throttle different from other biker news sites, and I do put this in the new book, and I'll answer all of your questions at the end of this little shramp, because I know some of you guys have got the book and might have questions on it, is you got to make sure you're straight and narrow, because people don't want to go to conspiracy websites, especially in this new age. If you're going out there and saying, well, no clubs do no wrong, and it's all the government's fault, well, you're a jacknut, because that's bullshit and you're lying to your audience. I don't believe in that. I know there are sites out there that tend to pander to a base. And Insane Throttle can't afford to do something like that, because our readership on HarleyLiberty.com, I think last month, hit 1.5 or something like that. And that's not 1,000, that's million worldwide. And a lot of people depend on us, especially other websites, because our site has an RSS feed. So a lot of other websites that have to do with being biker related picks up our stream and our news. So you can't go out there and act like an ass monkey and try to tell people that there's no wrongs in clubs. Let me tell you, because there is. You know, even though I'm out there saying, yeah, there's wrong with clubs, but it's only a small percentage of it, so you can't put a whole, umbrella against every freaking club out there. And it was funny, my last live stream was about how do 1%ers make their money. And the hate mail came in. It was nothing but, well, it's nothing but broads, it's nothing about, meth, all that bullshit. Bullshit. Most of your 1%ers are out there, welders, they're truck drivers. Truck drivers is a huge thing on in the biker community as a whole. It's just not clubs. But you got, factory workers, all that kind of shit. So don't be ignorant. What's going on is them keyboard warriors are pissed off because they couldn't get accepted in, say, a regular club scene, more or less a freaking 1%er scene. And that's one of the biggest things with Lollipop. Now, I call him Lollipop. His fucking name is actually Ray Izod Lebeski. And this is the dude who started up Iron Order in 2004. And let me tell you, Marty, he's a jacknut. I like Marty, man. Marty's cool conversation. But anyway, this guy went out with 8 guys and started up the Iron Order in 2004. Now, as you can see in a lot of articles that we did exposing him, he claimed to be hang around with the Black and White, the AOA, all that bullshit. Turns out he never wasn't. He never was near them. And he tried using that to put up his street cred, because you have to have some kind of street cred for people to try to follow your ass. Well, he didn't have it. Well, they went out, started Iron Order, and back then the internet was just coming about. So they used the internet to expand on their club. I think it was within a month or two. They started chapters everywhere else. He's no longer with the Iron Order, by the way. He was kicked out on bad. But he's now with Iron Legacy, because when the Iron Order kicked his ass out on bad, now he needed somebody to back his ass up because all the bullshit he pulled while he was president with the Iron Order. Personally, I've heard he's been hiding in his damn freaking house all day because we exposed his address. That's the way. We're a biker news site. We gotta fucking, put out there what's out there. But that's when everything started changing in the whole club scene. And 2018, now, you know, I've been doing some videos on kinfolk, which, by the way, yesterday I got a call from Aaron Davis, who was the former national president, the one that we talk about all the time here. He actually said, hey, I'm not in the club no more. I'm not doing anything. I'm independent. Let me tell my side. Well, as you know, Insane Throttle will let him tell his side of the story. And we also will challenge and put out there, you know, the evidence that we have against him and shit like that. So, but with kinfolk, they got a diamond on them. Now, that diamond, and I know a lot of people out there that haven't been around the club scene don't understand what the diamond means to people. There's a lot of guys that died for that diamond in these clubs. A lot of guys are doing life for that diamond in these clubs. You know, black and white, you got Taco. He's doing two fucking life sentences for his diamond. And you got guys from 81, Pagans, all the big ones doing freaking time. And they've lost a lot of brothers over this diamond. So you can see why a lot of guys harp, because there was one, it actually came from Chicago, and I was surprised that they said, hey, you're stuck in the past, you know, this is the new age, let them do their thing. Well, that diamond, you can't let them do their thing. You cannot sit there and not expose them when they got cops and they got pedophiles in a club with a diamond. There's something called tradition out in the motorcycle scene. You know, and bikers are starting to forget about that. And that's one of the other things about the new Age of Biking and Brotherhood I did, was try to put out there, hey, we're losing what we used to be. You know, we're bikers. We're not PC. You know, it used to mean bikers meant, hey, we do our thing and I don't give a shit what you have to say about it. Now it's like, you got some of these keyboard warriors out there saying, hey, you can't say this, you can't say that. That's bullshit, man. A biker don't have to do a damn thing he don't want to do, man. He can say what the hell he want to say. And it used to not matter. But now with that rub invasion and some of their freaking kids actually getting into the scene, it's become all screwed up, because what they did was bring their way of thinking as to what being a biker is. Well, let's see here. Eric, right here. I'm a clubber and I work for AT&T. Right there, rock and roll. And I'm glad you brought that up, Eric. That's pretty cool. Ironhead, Free Taco. You're goddamn right, Taco. Taco is a beast, man. Taco, you know, because I'm more with the black and another thing, you guys all know where I came from and who I support, but I don't put that in my reporting, and I never will. But yeah, Free Taco, man, he was something else, man. Let me tell you, he was a beast. But he was a true outlaw, and a lot of those old timers from that age are actually getting older, getting out of the scene, and some of these younger millennials, they should really get up there and talk to these guys. You know, talk to the guys that we learned from, and you can see what a true-ass biker is. And you know, a true-ass biker ain't out there selling fucking dope, ain't out there selling freaking meth, and all that bullshit. A true biker is going to take care of his family, is going to work his ass off, and that's why I'm all behind blue-collar workers, and I always will be, especially union guys. And because my whole family was union, you're talking steel workers, coal miners, and them people busted their ass. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a business running a show like this or making my money the way I do here. You know, hats off to all you blue-collar workers out there. Anybody who works as hard as you guys do deserve the credit. You made this country, not no white-collar company or a billionaire. Those billionaires didn't do it. You hard-working blue-collars did that shit. Nobody else. But Super Pin 420. Thanks, buddy. But that's the reason why we call out people like the kinfolk. And on Motorcycle Madhouse today, you'll see exactly the reason why they get called out. Because they pull some dumb shit. And to think that you can have cops in a one percenter club, you're a fool. You can't. Now, I wasn't in a one percenter club. I was with the Pistons. It was an official support club. Before then, before it went downhill, I was with the Predadoras. Now, that was you want to talk about street gangsters, there you go. Because most of the chapters were behind bars, the first club I was in. And that's something I really didn't want to get into because growing up, I lived the life on the street. Shit, I established one of the biggest gang chapters in one of the corners of the city, and I'm not going to promote them either. But, yeah, I was with the street gangs in the beginning, then I worked my way up to this shit, and because they were in the neighborhood I was in, I went with them. And there's some great guys. I still talk to them today. But it was mostly a prison deal and a lot of bullshit going on. So, when I got into the Pistons, man, I really learned what the Brotherhood was about. Because the AOA, and especially the West Side boys, they were some great freaking people. I talk to them all the time. But, yeah, they taught me what it really was about. And one of the things was, you didn't pull none of that street bullshit in those chapters. Because if you did, your ass was kicked to the freaking street because I didn't want the hassle. So all these people that go out there and say that one percenters are criminal and shit, you're full of shit, man. Because you don't know. All you're doing is watching the mainstream media, or you're listening to the cops, or you're listening to organizations like the Alliance of Law-Abiding Clubs. And like I said, for everything a one percenter does get caught doing, I can show you 5 or 6 freaking cops that do something worse. Just this morning when I was prepping for another thing over on Motorcycle Madhouse for next week, there was 5 fucking cops. Most of them for child abuse and sexual molestation. I don't know what it is with cops, man. When they get busted, it's all about sex crime, them freaking idiots. And you wonder, and me, I can't stand that. But yeah, that's why we bust on guys like Kinfolk and shit like that, because you're wearing a diamond, and a lot of people died for that diamond. So that's a lot what's in the book. Also, I have, the exposure of a lot of unsavory people that lied their ass off. And, the interviews, again, I did one with Iron Order in Wisconsin. Now, when I speak of some of the stuff I spoke about in some of my articles with Insane Throttle, again, I went in there, middle of the road, and I wanted a couple questions answered. Why do people join them? What's the draw for X 1%ers to go there? And and they're not only the out bad ones that go the Iron Order, they actually left their club and they went to the Iron Order. So I wanted to know why. So I got to sit down with the Elkhorn chapter president, and I got to sit down with the regional officer and also the region sergeant at arms and one of their state reps. And we got into this subject, and I hit them pretty hard. And I was wondering, okay, why this, why that, and, the whole 9 yards. And is it true? Do you still freaking mail order patches and shit like that? Well, going in there middle of the road and looking at that, no, they have a process, and I think they evolved from the days of freaking Lollipop. I don't think they'll ever get any respect because of the bullshit they pulled out there, and I don't blame other clubs for not respecting them. Hey, they killed the Piston. You think I'll ever get over that? I'm not a Piston anymore, but still. I'll never get over that shit. But in my job, and this is a job, this is how I make my money. I come at it middle of the road, like I said, and I want to make sure I get you guys all the news out there without my opinion skewing any story. Yeah, the Iron Order in Wisconsin, if the Nationals started doing what these guys in Wisconsin are doing, maybe they get some semblance of respect. But I doubt it because, there's a lot of leftovers from Lollipop in that club. And yes, they have cops in there. Wisconsin, they said they didn't have any. But, like I said, I can only tell you what they told me. And there's some good guys up in Wisconsin. And how I got that interview was actually a guy who used to be a Piston boss of mine. And he, went to a bigger 1%er club. I guess they didn't, I don't know what the hell went on, and I'm not going to get into it because it's none of my fucking business and none of your business. But anyway, it ended. He went over to them, and that's how I got the interview. So with this ass monkey, because he actually did, let's see here. Not that one. My hater screen. He actually put in there that I stood behind the Iron Order. No, what I did was report what I seen. That's not standing behind any club. I don't do that. Well, in my reporting, I don't. In my personal life, that's a different damn thing. So, but no, I didn't defend them. You can go read the news articles. They're on Insane Throttle, HarleyLiberty.com, and they're right there for everybody can see. But that was the new Age of Biking Brotherhood that I came up with. That's the ideal, and that's also the first book in the series. The third one coming out is the Iron Order one. The second one is the Legitimate Motorcycle Club. That was actually written, kill me on my grammar, whatever. But that was written, and I got help from other one percenters with that one. They wanted a book out there that tried to explain what protocol was and why it was around, how to do shit the right way. That's mainly for that type of crowd, that second book. But the third book, we go into all the history with Iron Order and why the scene hates them, what they did. And it also gives a lot of, how can I say that? There's affidavits in there from Lollipop and another guy that did against the Iron Order in that big case out in Pennsylvania. And this is where this guy might have came out with I support Iron Order, is because, I was telling everybody, hey, this case in Pennsylvania is something bad for the club scene. And basically what it had to do with was the Iron Order got in some bullshit, got in a fight, and pushed some broad into a street. Well, I shouldn't say broad. A woman into the street, she got killed. So the next thing happened was a civil case. And the civil case brought the Iron Order Motorcycle Club into it as a whole. And they were trying to say that the club was responsible for this one member's action. And I went out there totally ballistic saying, this ain't cool. If you guys would have took Iron Order out of the situation and put another club in there, it would have been all fine. But that's not how this shit works. If they would have won that case, and there was precedent that a club was responsible for the action of one of its members, you're talking the 81 would be in shit. The Outlaws, Pagans, Mongols, Sons of Silence, freak, Warlocks, all of them would have had hell to fucking pay. And what that was an angle to get in where they can't get them criminally. That's just like the Mongols Motorcycle Club case going on right now with the patch. And yeah, everybody thinks that, hey, they won, it was tossed out. No, it wasn't tossed out. It's on appeal right now. And what's going to happen is if they win that freaking case, that's their in. That's the government's in to go after clubs. And it's not going to only stop with clubs. If you look at Oz right now, they're having a hell of a time right now. They're going after riding clubs, Christian motorcycle clubs, everything in Oz. That's the government's way in to get these Vlad laws here in the United States. You guys got to remember that. So when I came out real hard against these guys testifying, because you had another biker news site actually go in there and try to testify against Iron Order. That don't mean I'm on their side. What I'm on the side of is motorcycle clubs. And when I seen what was going on, it's a big game with the feds. You got to know their game. And that's, one of the reasons why a lot of this shit has changed in the scene is because you got a lot of new jacks out there who really don't know the streets. They don't know the game. They don't know how the cops operate. They don't know how the FBI is. They don't know how the government is. They're freaking, how can I say it? They're unwise. Let's just put it that way of how everything works. So this is another angle for the feds to use because it's called asset forfeiture. And if anybody ever knows, if you're busted, say, and hopefully, because, I'm a big fucking weed guy, but hopefully, it's not happening in states that legalized it. But say you're in a state like freaking Iowa who hasn't legalized weed. and you got a couple plants growing in your house. Next thing you know, you're busted because you were stupid and telling people you had the fucking plants, because that's usually how it happens. And the next thing you know, you lose your freaking house to asset forfeiture. That's another tool that the government uses. So if they lost that case, think about it. And a lot of you guys are 81 supporters right now. Or you are. Hold on, let me light this shit. You guys are 81 supporters. 81 is one of the biggest corporations in the scene. They have a lot of assets. You're talking everything from clubhouses to, their sales on their freaking trademark. Can you imagine if the government got their trademark on their freaking death head? This is the shit I'm talking about. And this is what could have happened during that Iron Order trial. So just get that and remember that, man. There's a lot of shit where they can go around. Let's see here. JB. Gangland is a soap opera. You're damn right it is, man. You get a lot of guys out there that are ex-club members. I can remember the black and white one that they did on the AOA. Here's a guy who was a prospect, and this happened down in Florida. He was a prospect, and after 3 months, he said, I didn't like what was going on, and I was worried, and blah, blah, blah. So I started recording everybody. Really, dude? What, did you think it was your civic fucking duty to become a rat or a freaking confidential informant? If you didn't like it, then why the hell did you join? And that's a lot of the problems I see out there is... And that's why I tell a lot of people, go with the riding club, man. Don't even think motorcycle club. Go with the riding clubs. Go with the A-Baits. Shit, join the Moose Riders, or the Masons have a good riding club. It's called the Wicked... I think it's Wicked... I fucking forgot. Widow's Sons. My fault. But they got some good shit. Go join that, man. If you're going to go into an MC, you got to know a couple things. It's a street game. If you haven't been on the streets, don't go join, because you don't know what you're getting in for. And if you do join, you got to start accepting as a man what the hell you got into. That's one of the things I don't understand about CIs and rats, is how they let down their freaking, how can I say it, their pride in themselves, man. Do they have any freaking pride at all? How can you look at yourself in the mirror knowing you're such a punk that you got involved in something and you knew what the hell you're getting involved with, but when the shit went down, you couldn't accept the consequences? That ain't a man, that's a punk. Give me a break. And that's one thing I hate, and I do hate, this is the part of the job I really hate, is on Insane Throttle. You'll get this from a lot of freaking other people, these cop lovers and shit. They come in, well, all your site's about is this club doing that or this club doing that. Well, that's the shit that makes the news, man. That's just part of the news stream. What can I tell you? And that does really bug me that, hey, that's the only thing we, 98% of the things that report on are some bad shit. But it's important to get it out there because it's news. And again, I hate having to do that, but that's the way it is. Let's see, your aunt. Yep, I evicted my daughter and husband because of their blame and was losing my property to Rico. Goddamn right, man. They'll take that shit in a heartbeat. Or, you know what, like Aunt just says, BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. Join something like that. Don't go into the club scene if you haven't been around, man. Because all you're doing is causing problems for the club, and you're causing problems for yourself and your family. When I got in my first club, and this is no shit. The guy came up to me, and he says, because this is the type of club it was, and I knew what the hell I was getting into, was you had two choices. You're either going to get out there and you're going to look across the street and get buried, because we were right by the cemetery, or you're going to go to prison. And I accepted that. I played the freaking game, and I knew what the hell was going on. And if anything ever went freaking down, I would have accepted the responsibility for what I was in. Because that's my choice. That's the way I was raised. You know, Jesus Christ, I was running numbers at 15 for some pretty hardcore cats in Melrose Park. And that's another thing I was taught. So there was no freaking, doubt in my mind. And if anything ever went down, that's the way it would go. But then it was culture shock when I did go to the Pistons because it wasn't like what I thought it was, and it actually was a lot better. And the Black Pistons was the most fun I ever had in my life. And it wasn't about all this drug bullshit. It wasn't about all we had some, and this is another thing. A lot of people get pissed off because of the women and shit like that. Yeah, we had a lot of freaking women, man. But we weren't out there like these freaking ganglands and all that bullshit saying that, hey, you're out there pimping women or you're doing this, you're doing that. That shit ain't like that. We weren't pimping off property of. We weren't. Come on, give me a break, man. You got to remember, they come home. You think I want fucking AIDS? That shit's like luggage. It never leaves you, that fucking disease, man. So you think I want some shit like that? Fuck no, man. Come on. Let's see here. We got too many cop clubs in Michigan. Well, that is something else, Ironhead, let me tell you. And the super chat. I just got a super chat. I want to thank you for that super chat. It just scrolled right by me. I really appreciate that, H. Smith. Yeah, the cop clubs. And actually, you'll see in a book coming up where this idiot freaking Lollipop wrote about us complaining about why they want to look like us and bullshit. He wanted a whole fucking article or some shit about biker clothes and shit. It really fucked me up. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? What we're talking about is when you're trying to act like us, and this is going towards the cops. How the hell from 9 to 5... or whatever your fucking shift is, you want to go out there and bust us. You can't stand us. But then you want to go run to your car and change into your bullshit and want to be like us. You want to throw a 3-piece patch on. Now, I understand 3-piece patches the way it used to be. It don't work that way anymore. Everybody wears whatever the fuck ever. But here you are, wearing a 3-piece patch. Why don't you just wear a 1-piece patch, you cocksuckers, if you don't like us that much? Is it because you have to go out there and try to be a man or something? Is it, you're sad because every time your wife is laying next to you in bed, she's thinking about a real biker? Is that what's going on with you cops? I don't get it. Try to explain it to me. Anyway, let's get to some questions here. Let's see here. We ain't a criminal organization. We just have a couple organizations just like that in the Army and the police. God bless right there, Tom. Let's see here. You want to see hardcore criminals? Just you goddamn right, Fat. Rock on, Richard. All right. Damn Wade, Harry Outlaws, Ironhead. You gotta love it. Rock and roll. But anyway, instead of me going on and on and on, Anonymous, they try to say we're not car clubs because all members, you only accept one cop, you're a cop club, period. Agreed, Anonymous. If you got one cop in your club, you're a cop club. That's just the way it is. And you'll see on Motorcycle Madhouse today, there's a big story because included in that story, well, there happens to be an ex-cop that's now on some bullshit from the kinfolk, so you'll see that. It's gonna be, it's pretty funny what happened on Motorcycle Madhouse, and kinfolk, it came from the kinfolk Truthbuster page, and I did say she is one of the administrators, and boy does that woman have some knowledge, let me tell you, so don't miss out on Motorcycle Madhouse today at 1 o'clock. And also, thanks for everything. Thanks for your donations to Neon. Thanks for grabbing the book. I really appreciate that. If you guys got questions when you buy the book, just send them to me. I'll answer them. Most of you got my email address. It's cubbiesrock1973 at gmail.com. And freaking Cubbies didn't rock this year, man. They got their asses kicked, man. So, and the Yankees suck too. What the fuck all my teams got out there? No problem, Jose. No problem. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Don't forget, November 17th, we're going to start going live over everything. Everybody wants to see it, so I'm trying to get the software hooked up now, and we'll get going with that. But until then, I'll talk to you later, and thanks for all the support and liking and chatting on the videos. I really love the conversations that go on there. But I'm out of here, guys.